Yes, sir.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Devi garu, namaskar. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sanatana Dharma life itself is a sadhana. That's why it is Purushartha. Purushartha means Adhyate is Purusha. That means what is that we are looking for this life? Is it just only living or something else? So it is not just living, something beyond that. All the other species, they live. As long as they live, they live. And they don't have any worry also about. Like, for example, a dog will not go into depression if he is just living a life. Cat will not go into depression.
Unless we tight.
Right. Unless we force them. Whereas the human being, it is not like that. There is curiosity in him. Why am I? What am I supposed to do it? So that ability to innovate, to develop, it can flow both outwardly and inwardly. Outwardly, it flow, and the tendency has happened. The whole activity happened because that there were so many problems in the outward. That means to say, living against the nature's vagaries and then the wildlife. Actually, if you look at it, this wildlife, we are the least, uh, um, we are highest vulnerable creatures. Any creature can attack us. A simple mosquito can attack us and a lion can attack us. We are victim for everything that is there. But of all the creatures, they say that the most difficult creature that we is human being. That's a problem that we have. So therefore, that there were a lot of tendency, a lot of effort is there to see that fight with the external. So that you created wonderful houses. You saw that animals do not attack. Light we have created. Otherwise, whole night used to be without any light. That was their primitive man. But now we converted everything into the day. So therefore, this way that the whole section of a society was engaged in that. Fortunately for our Sanatana area, that means to say in our country, we didn't have much to fight with the external nature. You would get the food, the trees will give us the food and this and that. So therefore, we didn't have much of a challenges outside, but curiosity is there because the curiosity that we developed inward journey. And who am I? This question was there, finding out this. So I said that whole culture was based on this inward journey as a main thing. That is the reason why they said that we need to create this kind of a thing. But one thing what happens is that why we need to create an inward journey important is that otherwise, unless until we put an effort on that, otherwise it's very easy to be carried away by the material world outside. So that's the reason why we said that the whole lifestyle itself has to be in a way it can help us to go inward journey, and that's what is dharma. So all this search for dharma, everything it went on. Now, often people do not consider Sanatana Dharma is just only these various principles. But when I started looking at it, or the way that when you look at it, the whole lifestyle itself is the form of Sanatana Dharma. So therefore, we said that the journey of the human life itself divided into these various ashramas. So right from the beginning, the child is born. Give a idea in such a way that it goes in that direction. We give them direction and afterwards we leave them free. That initially the brahmacharya ashrama is the time that we give that. A simple nodal point in the brahmacharya ashrama is that there are certain things which are good for health and there are certain things which I like also. Now, you like or you don't like, when you are left with everything around. But if you are given the things which are supposed to be good for you, and also given an initial training to see that you start liking that, that means it is Shreyas and Preyas. Shreyas is what is good for me, Preyas is what I like. When both these things are going almost like connected to each other, then the life will be in the good direction. If it is not there, then people will go for what is supposed to be good for what is supposed to be attractive for me, so that I go behind it. And this is possibility, it is there in the case of human being. That's why Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita that Uddhared Atmanatmanam, na Atmanam avasadayet. That means you can bring yourself down, but consciously pull yourself up. For that, the whole system has been created. So that's what is basically Brahmacharya Ashrama, then Grahasashrama. So, and Grahasashrama happens to be a very big area where you are free and you can go in that direction, and everything is offered to you, the whole world is offered to you. Not only that, what you live for yourself, but you are going to create a unit in the society. That means there's a responsibility there. That is what I gave. Hello, class alidina me. Satsang. Okay. So therefore, actually, what happened is that uh, uh, we saw that, but at the same time, that you should have your nature properly taken care of, your various uh, mm, gunas. Guna is supposed to be nature. So therefore, they divide the society into four verticals: Varna, Ashrama, Varna Dharma. So that Ashrama Dharma was something which is going on. Together with that, we had the Varna Dharma. According to your nature, that you take up that activity. In this culture, there was nothing like this is inferior, superior. In fact, unfortunately, over such a period of time, our own people created, others also created that this hierarchy of the whole thing. And when they created hierarchy, then our inferior, superior has come. Actually, there is nothing like superiority or inferiority. There is only thing is that there were uh, you can do it, you cannot do it because various reasons, other reasons.
Tendency.
Yeah. Sorry? Huh?
It's not a tendency.
Not a tendency. Idea is that work requirement. Let me give you an idea.
It's a orientation.
Orientation. Like, for example, simple thing is that, imagine a very simple idea. Those days, what used to happen is that we didn't have all these toilets, etc., etc. It used to be there, but somebody used to handle it. And then he would not feel bad about doing that because of his tamasic nature. In tamasic nature, you are not sensitive. Easy to handle it. So therefore, some people, they said, okay, we will do that. By nature, they were tamasic, and then they were handling that. But it was supposed to be something which is there is so they because that they were doing those things, they were highly immune to various things. Whereas the sensitive people were the people that they could not have that immunity. So therefore, what they have is that they separated them out, saying that if you go to them, because their high degree of immunity, they do not get affected, but the infection will come to you. They are carriers of infection, they'll come to you. That's the reason why that there was an isolation between these things. That's why they said that, all right, you have separate well, we have separate. All these things were there. But unfortunately, what happened, any system can be corrupted. There were some people inside the system, they also corrupted it, saying that these are untouchables, you cannot touch them. So we don't allow them. And the other day, I was talking to somebody, he was very proudly saying that, say, we are very, very broad-minded. I said, what is that? So my driver, I allowed him to come and sit with me and have food. You see, we don't have the feeling of, I said, what is this nonsense? Today you are talking like that? I was feeling like that. If there is some sensitive issues, like for example, that driver, if there are other drivers and all that, they're happy with that. Yeah. By asking my driver to come and sit with me along with other people, he feels discomfort. See, that is the idea. There is no question of untouchable or anything. Whereas we have our driver. He goes everywhere with us. And in fact, when I had some guests and all that, we were traveling. I said, we'll come to your house and prepare for us some snack and then we'll eat at your place. So we had that. So that means to say, it's only for the sake of convenience. Many times I take him to some functions and all that. I tell them that, and he also knows that. I don't want to involve in that. Why Yoga Bharati functions or family functions, he will regularly come.
Yeah.
He's uninvited, he will come inside, meet with everybody, talk to because he is friendly with them.
Only he feels home.
He feels so. In your place also is like that. He comes very. But whereas in some houses, then he says, Raghuramji, don't invite me, you sit outside. It's all right. You are all people there. So it's convenience sake. It's not a question of anything. Because the thing is that we'll be talking, that discussing about that, he gets a headache out of it. So he doesn't enjoy that conversation. So that is a simple idea. But people made it hierarchical. You're untouchable, this and that has come. But actually, these are all the things which are locally developing. It's not anything like that. But unfortunately, that they see a couple of incidents and make a big story out of it. So they said that there's a lot of untouchability in Hinduism, this, that, and all. It was never like that because you can see the whole history that there are people who were from various classes mixing with everybody. In fact, we have evidences of our great rishis. They were non-Brahmins and then they became great rishis. Unless until we have accepted them as a part of the society, they would not have become. So that's why, unfortunately, I think that discussion is not a healthy discussion to go in that direction. But basically, that everybody is going in that direction of spiritual journey. And this spiritual journey, we call it as yoga. That's why Patanjali makes it very clear. Others only gave definitions about yoga is very nominal definitions, whereas I consider Patanjali's definition is very indicative about this culture, saying that you are normally given to the activities, you are in the world outside, you are connected with the world outside. Vritti sarupyam itaratraha. Vritti nirodha, that is what is yoga. Drashtuhu swarupe avasthan, you go back to yourself.
Here the beautiful word, usage of the word yoga.
Yeah.
Even in Kannada we say, ಅವನಿಗೆ ಯೋಗ್ಯತೆ ಇದೆ.
Right.
He has that yoga. ಅವನು ಅಯೋಗ್ಯ.
Ayogya.
He is not
Yes.
suitable.
In fact, actually, that is what is the root meaning of yoga. Yoga has these three things. One is called as this yujjate anana, yuj dhatu. And that means to say joining together. What is that joining together? You have forgotten your nature and you are with the world outside. But then when you understand that your nature is deep inside consciousness, then you join that consciousness, that yuj. That means to say individual is connected with the consciousness, soul. That's what is the idea. Yuj dhatu. Second thing is yogyata, what you said is. Yuj dhatu comes from yogyata, same origin, comes from yogyata also. That means to say you prepare yourself to go for that. You make yourself to go for that. That is what the idea is, that of all the species, human being species is something who can learn this. And then he can grow. Like, for example, we are born. When we are born, that we have an ability to speak, we have an ability to write, all these things are there in the motherboard. But then until we train, we do not get it. Similarly, singing, it's there within us. But you need to go through that. Some people who have that. You go through the training. Then you develop that quality that's there within you. You enrich that quality within you. So this is how this ability to develop that is in the case of human being. Only a species that's human. Other species learn small little bit to grow. Like, for example, dogs, we teach them to certain instructions we follow. Cat, certain instructions. Like that they have. But recently, these days, I'm also seeing another videos, let's say. Even the wild animals, they have loyalty, compassion. These are the things which are naturally there for them. Because you see, we see there's one deer got caught up in the fencing somewhere, and then a dog came running and stopped a car, took those people to the deer to see that you release the deer. That means they have compassion. It's not taught. Similarly, the loyalty. That's what he helped the some uh, tiger, something like that, to in some trouble conditions, and then he went and released it, and then tiger and the little cub tiger, both of them, they're happy, and then every month they visit their house and be with these people. So that means loyalty is there within them. So these are all the things which are natural qualities. You don't have to do that. Only thing is you give an encouragement for these things that is there. So that is how essentially that what happens is that we can be trained into it. We can be given a direction, human being, and that direction can be there in the for that in brahmacharya ashrama. We are taught about various things, but more important thing is in the grahastha ashrama is the place where we actually employ that. That's why I was also saying last time that no other animal species that they can lie. They don't know what is lie. And we also did not know what is lying as a child. Child does not know what is lying. And but then we teach them. Lying is, and we see that there is a convenience about lying. There is an advantage about lying. So all these things so slowly that it will become. Otherwise, the child does not. Not only children that mentally uh, uh, less privileged children, they can't lie. That's what I was saying. That a friend of mine is having a factory. He runs a software company with all the mentally challenged people, all the staff. And the advantage with them is that you ask them to do something, exactly do it. Not one mistake you can find out. And solder here, they just solder there. They do this, all these things. And they're very soft chips that they make. They make all these things. And then he also has one of those persons in the front desk. He's very smart looking, nicely dressed and all that. If you see him, you don't see that, you don't find out that he's mentally challenged, but he is there. Anybody comes, he start to say nicely, namaste, talk, then please come and sit down. And I said, I want to meet his boss. I said, please sit down. And then he went to the boss. Whole day, boss was busy with so many things and all that. And he says that told his person, tell him that I'm not in the office. You can go. I said, but we are in the office. But tell him it's all right that I'm not in the office. No, you are in the office. See, there is no gap. He can't tell a lie. Then this boss had to go out and he only told that this is like it. So naturally, what happens is that these things which are there in the human being, naturally that is there, spontaneously they are there. These are all the things which I was talking about bhavana. There's such a wonderful thing like human being bhavana. So now what has to happen is that Grihasthashram is a huge area, big area. It has got many things, responsibility on the Grihastha is the main person who is there in the society. And how many things he has to shoulder, One thing is that this whole Puranas that we have created, the whole context of Purana is having a relationship. See his brother, his sister, his this thing, and then the relationship. And in order to maintain that relationship, we created various festivals, various these things to see that brother and sister relationship, sister and sister relationship. So for that, we have created festivals. Like for example, Bhai Dooj is one thing like that, and the Raksha Bandhan is another thing. So all these things to see that how we can, and we also have the connections between uh, parents and children and all that is there. And when do we have to do these things? It's during the Grihastha. So in order to see that enliven these Puranas and their relationship, the stories, for that we have created this whole of Grihastha. And we created nice, wonderful festival around that. But particularly, the very simple thing is that when two people become together as a grahasthas, that is husband and wife, it's a huge festival we create. It's not just only that species are there, they're interested, that they go together. Other species, it might be like that. But in human being, it is not like that. It's so calculated, so this thing. If you don't do that, then you don't belong to this society. If somebody is not willing to do that, yes, leave them alone. Don't worry about it. That's how we have these four ashramas. All these four ashramas, even Shudra, is also having all these laws and regulations and all that connections that is there. It cannot be violated. If those who do not follow that, they become the Chandala. So that's why, all right, you can stay in the forest. You don't belong to this society which has got order. So you can be there. We allowed them to be there, and Shankaracharya gave guidance for them also. So therefore, essentially, that the Grahastha system has such a huge responsibility of taking care of the, not only just take care of the Puranas, but the relationship that was there in Puranas, very noble way that you carry that. So that's why Grahasthashrama is there. And another very important aspect of Grahasthashrama is that the you create a harmonious, stable society, say a stable unit in the society. That's very important, so that the society feels safe. So that is why in order to take care of all these things, that we have what is called as the Karma Yoga. Because journey towards this um, higher purpose is supposed to be yoga, and this is supposed to be a yoga in the normal day-to-day activity. That means the work that you do is also yoga, and the way that you live is also part of yoga. Wow, this fellow is so stubborn. It's all right. Okay. It's our problem. We did not give the walk before we started. Otherwise, he will come and sit here for satsang. He knows that. Hmm. What a lovely animal. See, when you have that kind of you don't get angry, you don't get upset, you don't get disturbed. There is nothing like disturbance at all in these things. But so whatever is there in the Grahastha is not a disturbance. It is, and if you can really realize that, it helps you to grow. Whatever may be the condition that is there. So, in order to see that we can understand that thing and then adapt that way, that's why Karma Yoga is there. Unfortunately, what happened, people have given so much of importance to all these practices of asanas, pranayama, and this and that, and meditation, and all that. Not much attention is given on the Karma Yoga aspect of it. That's what I feel. Even though the whole of Bhagavad Gita, people like Bal Gangadhar say it's Karma Yoga text and all that, but we have not given much importance on this karma aspect of it, Karma Yoga aspect of it. I think that is something that we need to really take it forward, because lot major chunk of our life goes in the Grahastha and Vanaprastha ashrama. These two ashramas are the ashramas where we have to take the journey of Sanatana Dharma into towards that moksha. Moksha is the sadhana is important. In order to take towards moksha, that you are given such a huge, that means two chapters of life is given to you. And we need to understand that. So that's why Karma Yoga aspect is something which is very important. What is the simplest way? And before even go to the Karma Yoga, what I would say is that the problem that is there in the Grahastha Ashrama can also be major. One thing is that anything that you have, anything that you possess can become your possession, and it can become your ego. Only the Grahastha Ashrama can become your ego. So bold. You get married and then wife becomes your ego, husband can become your ego, child can become ego. Anything can become ego for you. The house you build can be ego, The car that you have can be ego. So this is what is the danger there in the Grihastha is this. And then you are supposed to do this and never possess any of these things. This is what Shankaracharya said, that Muda jahihi dhanagama trishna kurusad buddhihi manasi vitrushnaha. Such a, and this is what is the first sutra in Bhajagovindam. That's the first sutra, he says. These are the Mudha Jana, Dhanagama Trishna. You have money, all those things you get, but only thing is that that idea of possessing, hoarding it, and not releasing, this is something which is supposed to be Trishna.
Krishna means?
Trishna means greed. You see, we think that people who don't have, they have greed. No, yeah, many times they don't have greed. People who have, they have the greed, possession, holding it. They don't give it. So, mudajahihi dhanagama trishna kurusad buddhim manasi vitrishna. Give a good sense to them. So, money, that means mind will be, no, I don't have to possess it. That's an unfortunate thing that happens. And there are hundreds of ways that in Grihastha that you could have it. So, how to cut this out? That's why Shankaracharya, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna gives an idea, and Patanjali also gives us in the Karma Yoga aspect, in the sadhana aspect of it, the first step of sadhana gives that. And that's what is convert karma into kriya. That means you cut down the ego. Now, what is the difference between karma and kriya? Karma is that there is a doer behind it. I walk, I did something, I built a house, and the doer is there behind it. I thought about some things and all that. There is a doer behind it. Kriya is that where there is no doer. Kriya just happens. And we just to bring an idea about these things, we have both these things involved in our breathing, so close to us as a breathing. We can do some breathing exercises and all that where you are doing it. But are you 100% doing the breathing? No. When you are not there, also breathing goes on. That's what it is called as the Shwasa Kriya. So if Shwasa Kriya was not there, then who will take care of you? Because when you are sleeping, you have to wake somebody up. Otherwise, you go to sleep, finish. You forget about breathing. So, even if you forget about the breathing goes on. That is Shwasa Kriya. Similarly, Pachana Kriya that goes on, such a huge activity like the food that you take, the whole digestion is happening and you are not involved in that. Circulation is going on, heart is beating, there is no I behind it. So we have a huge lot of chunk of activity where it is Kriya, it is not Karma. Not only within us, you see in the nature there is so much of activity that's going on, there is no Kartru behind it. It's all like Kriya. Like for example, wind blows. And it's a very beautiful poetic expression that is given in Shastras. That is, God Himself becomes wind and God Himself flows. It's not that there is no, it's all the same consciousness itself becomes wind and flows. There's one, we were there in the Himalayas, and then there was a very uneducated unschooled lady was there. It's simple house. And then we were all sitting, it was very sultry. And then Swamiji was there, he said, Amma, why don't you pray to God? Your prayer, God listens to you. Why don't you pray to God to give us some wind? Ha lalla. Very innocent. He said, yeah, lalla, I do that. And then she said, Bhagavan said, Bhagavan Baho. That means you flow. It's not that you give the wind, he flows. What a beautiful philosophical content. There's no I behind it. When the I is not there, it is Bhagavan. The moment I comes, it is man. As long as that I comes, it's human being. I is not there, Bhagavan. That's the idea. So, in fact, that is the reason why, in the case of Bhagavad Gita, every other character that I say, See, Arjuna Uvacha, and Dhritarashtra Uvacha, etc. Comes Krishna, he says Bhagavan Uvacha. Bhagavan Krishna also has a name. Why do you call him Bhagavan Uvacha? And the others also are Bhagavan. Why only Krishna you say Bhagavan Uvacha? The simple thing is when Krishna is talking, the I of Krishna is not there. In fact, if you properly understand, that is the idea, actually putting Jesus on the cross is that the I of Jesus Christ was put on the cross, the physical body. Anything physical is what is I. As I said that I built this house, I did this thing, it's my car, my this thing. I is that. So this I put on the cross is what Jesus Christ was. But I don't know how many Christians will agree with me. So he showed that the I can be put on the cross. Actually, that is what is the dialogue that Jesus said. See what happened in the Last Supper before that. Magdalene comes and then she says, Mary, she says that, planning is going on to see that they fix you somewhere and then put you on the cross. Then Jesus said, if it is, they thought about it, it will happen today or tomorrow. Why worry about it? If not today, tomorrow, they'll anyway put on the cross. I may be put on the cross, but my message has to go on. That's how he said to the other people, today, whatever that I'm giving you, it's now it is I give up to you so that my blood is your blood and my flesh is your flesh. That means my message is your message. You take it forward. Simple way. And that day, actually, after that Last Supper, he served the blood and he served the wine. He served everybody wine and bread. Said, this wine is my blood, and that flows in you. And they carried the message. Today, if you have Bible is that because it's not Jesus saying. Jesus saying is said by somebody else, like Luke, etc., etc. And that's recorded in the form of Bible. And we say it is Jesus Christ's words. So that means to say this, when the I is not there, God alone is there. So that's what is the message that we conveyed it. So is there a way that in Grahastha I make various steps to see that I cut down this ego? Wonderful way that you can, and not cut down the ego. You can surrender the ego in two ways. One way you surrender ego out of fear, and you can also surrender ego out of greed. That's also there. Both of this are surrender your ego out of love so that you can raise above. And that is what is Grihastha is given. So, like the simple thing is that first thing is that another person comes into your life, married. What a wonderful idea. For outside, it is wonderful. But for you, that means you have to compromise your ideas. Another person is there. Happily compromise. I like certain things, but she doesn't like something. Okay. Your liking is okay for me. There are some people who insist, but then if people insist, they are in trouble. Not the people who, okay, let go. That's a wonderful way that you can see that you overcome the ego. So this is right from the beginning of Grihastha starts. Then this compromise. That means the compromise means negative way, but this is not. It's actually that you give up your ego. You don't have any. So right from there onwards, that means to say now activities I do, they are not karma, they are kriya. And I is not there. So that is what is basically and when I is not there, then the work becomes your responsibility. You cannot become egoistic about your responsibility. It's your responsibility. I have to do that. I clean the house, I clean the house, I do this. So division of labor. All these things will give us the idea, Grihastha, see that you are surrendering your ego. Now the child is born, further ego is surrendered. So much that you can't do the things. In fact, the moment, particularly the ladies, extraordinary thing, the moment that the child is in the womb, now your tastes are not your taste. Already husband has taken away half of your taste. Now the child comes and says, you don't take, if you take a little spicy, I'm going to kick you now. The child in the mother's womb, he is not happy. So you do anything for the sake of the child. How many things that you do, and out of love. It's not surrendering out of fear or greed. It's surrendering out of love. People think that we don't know how to surrender, but we have. Ability to surrender is there within us. We have seen that. Grihastha gives that idea. We surrender for the sake of benefit or out of fear. Somebody is there, I'm going to, oh, then I will call, touch his feet.
Surrender for the sake of harmony? Is that also a right way of saying?
Say, yes, surrender for the sake of harmony. Harmony itself is a spiritual direction for that. I love to give that example. I don't know, many times you might have heard. Myself and my brother, Rajaram, we were there in Vijayawada, and so we were 1 month before we reserved the ticket, train ticket, and and on that day we went to the railway station. It was Saturday. So Saturday, happily we went to the railway station, and then we said, went to the compartment. A little early we went, but then already somebody is occupying the seat. So you get so angry. Somebody said, say it's our seats. The way that we said, we're also big, they become nervous. Sir, it's our seats. No, 36, 35, 36 our seats. But it's our seats. Then check in the ticket clearly. We are not checking our ticket. And those people, they opened their ticket with fear. So yeah, 35, 36. I think your ticket may be in the different compartment. They looked at, no, the same compartment. Everything is the same. See, then once we saw that, and not they said, yes, no, we want to see that. We took their ticket and saw that. Yes. Now you see, we are half dead. Took out our tickets and compared that.
Before that, you blamed the railway.
Now that is what, while taking out the ticket, we said that railways are horrible, They issue the same seats for more than one person, create a mess out of it. It's just so very bad. We told all those things and took out our ticket. Our ticket's also the same compartment and the same seats, everything is the same. But then I looked at the date, it was yesterday's date, our ticket. 1 month before we booked it. It was 1 month. That means we forgot that. See, we said that on the first of the particular of month, the first day, first book it, and first is Friday or Saturday, we said. But happened to be first was a Friday. But we remember the Saturday. So we went to Saturday. Our ticket has also expired. I mean, not only ticket, we were expired actually. We didn't immediately, we should say, jumped out of the compartment, but we have to travel. But we have this ticket. Immediately, both of us, we run on the platform to see where is that black coat, white coat, white coat, black red. TT. We found out one fellow at TT and immediately rushed there, fall at his feet. He looked like Tirupati Venkateshwara. He all kinds of boots and fell at his feet. They don't get up unless you say yes. Yes, what's your problem? Then we got up. And said, see, now we wanted to buy, we want to go and this and that. We have to necessarily go and this, all those things we said. Then he said, okay, I can provide you to say, provided you buy a new ticket. Yeah, we are prepared to buy anything. You see, we surrender. And that day we surrendered, we got the ticket, we got the seat. If you surrender for one moment, you get the seat. If you surrender lifetime, what's an advantage that you get? That's what basically Grihastha teaches us. You become humble. It's not egoistic. So that is the idea. Grihastha's importance is that at once it will make you humble. So many things that are there. You're not asking for anything. The situation comes that you show yourself like that. So, very important idea of Grihasthashrama is to see that your work that you do it, everything you do it, have everything, produce much, but then don't be egoistic about that. Simple ideas. Ego is, it's not to kind of satisfying our ego, but we do all those things because Grasta is supposed to do it. Produced, Grasta is the only person who can produce, who can make this world rich. If the society has to be rich, if the culture has to be rich, it's the Grasta who has to do it. Go ahead and do plentiful, produce. That's why he says that, how he says beautifully, and live passionately. Jivema Sharadashatam, Nandama Sharadashatam, Modama Sharadashatam. And in the process that you create, that's why he says, whatever way that you can develop all those things, develop. See that country will be prosperous, society will be prosperous. You make this society prosperous. That is the idea. I said that Grahastha is the person who can do it. You can produce, you can develop. That's why this culture was at the top of the world in the economics for the last 10,000 years. And Angus Madison, who did the research on the economy from the first AD, he said that from first AD until about 18th century, 19th century, India's GDP was a double figure and highest in the world. Highest in the world. In fact, everybody came to India to loot. That itself shows that whether Huns came or whether these people have come, Muslims came, Mughals came, Pathans came, everybody came to India to loot. Uh, some people very wisely say, no, everybody came to loot, but British came to give to India. Railways they gave to India, they forget about it. It's for their sake that they have created the railways. Other than that, everybody came to loot. And that's what Shashi Tharoor said in Reparation said. The amount of money that you looted from India for 200 years is almost like 3 million,
They are the biggest looters.
trillion dollars. And then I'm not asking you to repay all that. He said, as a reparation is 1 rupee every year. That's good enough for us.
Repentance
Yes.
should be there.
Wow, what a beautiful thing. Only he is extraordinary in that way. So essentially what happened is that we were top of the world because we were producing. Not only we were producing, we were distributing. We were giving it. We never had the possession. That's the reason why he says that Dhanagama Trishna, that we always discouraged. We never recognized in this culture in Grahasthashrama, somebody who is rich, somebody who has big house, big car, they are not big for us. Somebody charity he does, he is big for us. Somebody who is knowledgeable is big for us. Somebody who is compassionate, philanthropic, he is big for us. This culture, and that's why with all those things that is there, Tyaga is something we recognize as the highest principle in this world. Nothing else is the high principle for us. Na karmana, na praja, dhanena. None of these things. Tyaga neke amritattva manashu. That tyaga is something which is held very high. So therefore, that the whole culture is supposed to be in such a way, you give much more than you take. So that what happens is that society becomes richer because you are here. If I have grasta, that means my place will be richer. So for that, they created a grasta with that kind of an attitude that he should be of the attitude of giving rather than taking it. Jivane yavada danam syat pradhanam tataha adhikam. Whatever that I take from the society, I give much more than that. If I take one leaf from the tree, I put water to see that it will have 4 leaves. My taking leaf makes that forest, a tree, much more richer. So this is the attitude that we always had, and that can happen only in the case of Grihasthashrama. And right from the beginning, the child is born, the parents teach their children to see that that way you grow. It's a responsibility. You don't have to run a school or college to see that at the household that you give it. But unfortunately, what happened is that we forgot that principle. And then we say that I take much more than what I give, and I feel I'm smart. What a irony of it that simple people, like for example, a roadside this vegetable vendor is there, and then you buy the vegetables, and then you bargain. So she says about 30 rupees, 30 rupees, 40 rupees. No, no. Can you give it for 20 rupees? Can you give this? And all that. Finally, after all those things, the calculation, and poor lady, she doesn't know calculation. In calculations also, you make some 10 rupees concession on that. And then finally you say, yeah, I've been very wise that I saved so much money. Is that the way that the society has to give them more? So if I have that kind of a principle, the society becomes richer. You see. So this Grahastha is here to see that how society becomes richer. Grahastha Ashrama Dharma is that. So one of the important principles of Karma Yoga is that any activity that you do it, any activity that you get it, always see that you give much more than you take. And another thing is, while giving that activity, you maintain such purity, such clarity in the activity that you do it. The activity should speak about you, not you speak about the activity. Normally, what happens is we go and speak about it. I did this, I did that, I did that. No, your activity should speak. When I was in the project area, there is a common practice that in project area, we all used to sit together in the evening, and then my house was generally my house was like a uh, meeting point for everybody. Everybody would come. And then because my house contractor would come, and then workers also would come, everybody would sit together. And then we are talking, and then Bhakranangal Dam and this dam, the big dam. So, uh, and then there was one fellow who was there, a worker here. I said, oh, Bhakranangal Dam, oh, maine banai hai. I made it. And that fellow was a barbender, small little, serving tea to everybody in Bakna. I made that Bakna. You identify a doing doer. So can you see that you don't identify that? Not that what you do, you say it, but what you did has to speak about you. That's very important. So this way, Grahastha Ashrama is something where you contribute to the world outside. This is what is basically the Karma Yoga. Now, second thing is the Karma Yoga aspect is that it's not the karma per se that you do it, it is the attitude behind the karma. There are several ways that you can change your attitude to see that an attitude taken the upward direction. Very simple attitude that we have is the idea of seva. Do every activity in the form of a seva. The seva, we don't have a lot of words in Sanskrit, we don't have equivalent in English. One such word is seva also. So we have to adapt the word as seva. Unfortunately, that seva has been translated into service. And the person who does it, servant. That's not the idea. Service is, it's not seva that way. Seva is that if somebody is there having some quality, some activity, something like that, I provide facility for him to see that he doesn't have to come down from that level in order to take care of some trivial things. I take care of trivial things so that you go ahead and do the activity.
And the children have exams, the parents then
Yeah.
are other things.
Right. So that is the basic idea. Now you see the child, and it's my responsibility. It's not a lot of people say later on they say that, when you're growing, how much I did to you, and you don't do to. And the child will also say, you did for me, you did for yourself actually. So what we say that it's so beautifully said, it says that uh, the parents have parents have no uh, parents do not have should not demand from the children that I have shown my love to you. No, you showed your love for your sake. Child does it later on, it's up to him. Child doesn't, we always say that children should take care of parent. It's not that mandatory. Child should feel that I'm comfortable by taking care of my parents. It's very important because basically what happens is that if you don't take care of parents, I've seen in so many cases when the parents die, then they start feeling the pinch of it, saying that, "Hooray, when they were alive, they were alive, I could have done so many things. I did not do it." You start feeling the dependence, and then you can't do anything now because they're not there. I wish. Then the slowly it comes. Next life, at least let me take care of my parents very clearly. But because you don't remember next life anyway. But that you want to do. This is what is seva. That you do it. Seva is that way that you do it. So that while doing itself, that you get happiness to see that you're taking care of them. In fact, this Kumar Vishwas, he was telling the very beautiful speaker on Ramayana, Mahabharata, and all that, extraordinary. And he was saying like that when, not Kumar Vishwas actually, this Ashwini, one of the, he was saying, he's also very knowledgeable. He was saying that when Shah Jahan was in the, Aurangzeb put Shah Jahan in the jail, and they said, the pot that you kept with the water, it broke now, it doesn't have enough water for me. Can you get me a new pot? He said that now you deserve only that much of water, not more than that. Son was telling father, put him in the jail. And then Shah Jahan replied to Aurangzeb saying that we are living in a culture, that was Sanathana Dharma culture, where the children give water to the dead parents in the form of, the ceremony. Whereas you don't want to give water to the parent who is living, father who is living. What kind of person you are like that? But that's what is the reality. So we give not only to departed soul, also we give. In the name of departed soul, we give to the others also. Grihasashrama provides us an opportunity for these things. Give. Make the world better. You are being there. Live in the culture. Because it's not the culture of this, that culture of living, culture of giving, culture of this thing, inviting people. This is what we need to keep it alive. So therefore, any activity that we do, these are the two different types of activity. One is the normal activity that we do it, what we do it. But apart from that, we have shaped the occasions into rituals so that we can do these activities. That's why this Karma Yoga has two aspects of it. One is called as Karma Kanda, and the other is that Karma Yoga. So Karma Yoga is the normal activity that we do it. Can we bring about that concept of yoga in that? But then another is Karma Kanda, like for example, uh, parents are departed, so that departed soul, in their name that we do the Shraddha. In fact, the very name Shraddha comes from Shraddha. To develop that Shraddha, we try to do that in such a way that Shraddha that we do it, Shraddha that we do it, it will give a direction to the youngsters who are growing. So that we developed a whole nice, wonderful way of, with the sacredness that we do it in such a way that people, onlookers, will be impressed by that. So that what happens is generation after generation, that continues. That's the idea. Like that we have created that kind of Pitrupaksha. Whether it is true or not, let's not forget about whether the food that I give it, will it reach my forefathers? All these things we don't have to worry about it because they are abstract things. Abstract things, neither yes nor no. So somebody says that yes, somebody says no. But let's not get into argument with any of those things. Simple thing is, it's an opportunity for me in their name that I do so many things. I serve people. What a wonderful way it is. I integrate with the people. Not only I integrate with the generation that we have. Somebody was asking.
They say, Raghunaji, during all this food,
Yeah.
Tripti.
Tripti is the most important thing. In fact, we keep saying that. Have you eaten Tripti? Did you? It is Saturday. In fact, my brother is such a sensitive person. He is. Just that, if particularly the Shraddha time, we give the clothes to the pujari. And then he says that I don't want to leave that to you people. because you'll just go and buy any dhoti and all that. He says that I will bring it, because he says that I have to bring such a dhoti that the pujari, the priest, should feel like wearing that. I don't want to bring anything cheaper. Wow. And he will be wearing a very cheap one. He is a very simple person. But the dhoti that he gives is something extraordinary. Very, wow. And he lives a very simple life. You have seen him. It's simple. But then that he does. What is Shraddha? That's what is Shraddha. It's not the question of what all you do it. So all these rituals are created to see that we enliven these values. So now what happens is that we were carrying those things. Earlier, see, every practice that we do, there are two components of it. One is we need to translate in the form of doing something. See, I have a feeling within me. Feeling is not sufficient. It has to be practically seen outside. It has to have a actual activity that is there outside. It's very important. And it's a normal thing. Even anybody, it's a common thing. Like I remember in USA, after a long time, somebody suddenly came to know that I'm in USA. And then he's in USA for early years. Oh, he was so excited to know that I'm there. Like this Gadam Ramakrishna, he's also there. And then he said, oh, come to our place and all that. I said that I'm in Houston. So I said, I'll come to Houston, pick you up, and then take to my house. You come to our place and all that. I said, okay. That day I was finishing my 15 days program, workshop, something like that. So naturally, there were about more than 100 people were there, and we were having a nice, wonderful dinner. Hundreds of items were there. Everybody was there. All that. He came and to pick me up. And then he also had food, and then I had food. Picked me up. Straight he went to Madras Pavilion. In Houston, Madras Pavilion is a very famous place. Nice, wonderful something. He has that, and we sat down. He ordered one plate of dosa, one plate of idli, one plate of this for Raghuram. I said, yeah, just now you saw me. You know, Raghu, all that is one side, but I have to offer you. Whether you eat it or not, doesn't matter. See how mad it is to give. Yeah, love. So you create a ritual of giving it. And actually, that's what I said. I offer all these things, prepare all these things, and put in front of Ganesha during Ganesh festival. Even to say Ganesha, will eat anything? No. You also don't eat, doesn't matter. Don't feel bad about it. Where are you bringing the analogy? He says, that was the kind of a thing that you have. You do something. So therefore, they created the rituals around various activities. Right from morning to evening, you are engaged in that. That's what is the Shraddha aspect of it. So for that, we take care to see that the things are not disturbed and all that. So there was some wise person, family and all that. They are offering Shraddha for their Pitrus and all that. So all those things very nicely done, very, very impressively that people would see also very impressed. Because learned people, when they do it, that it is like you also emulate the same thing. And then they had a cat, and the cat was going around everywhere. So he just didn't want the cat to disturb that. So he put the cat on the basket on the cat. So it is there. And then they did the Shraddha, everything. Somebody came and saw that all those things that were there, that he was impressed by that. He also did the Shraddha at his place, but at the same time, went around and got a cat and then put the basket on top of it. This became a ritual. This is what they. That means now what happened is that whatever, and now because they did it, somebody else did, so somebody else also will do it. So this is how what is supposed to be not part of it has become part of it. And then if you don't do it, then the priest also will take advantage and said, if you don't bring a cat and put a basket on top of it, you will be missing. So then you say, but where can I find it? Okay, equivalent to that, you make a silver cat and then give it to Dana to us. So that will be all right. All these things. So therefore, Dharma gets distracted. Now we do, youngsters will ask, why do we have to do all these things? You have no answer. So this is how In the name of following Dharma, we corrupt the Dharma. That's what is the idea. Manudharma Shastra says, Dharma eva hato hantihi. Dharma itself kills, suffocates Dharma. Dharmic practices are suffocated by the people who think that they are following Dharma. They are wanting to do Dharma, they suffocate it. Dharma eva hato hantihi. That's why he says, Dharmo rakshate rakshita. First of all, understand what is Dharma, and that if you take care of it, Dharma will take care of you. That means the practice of Dharma is supposed to take us towards the ultimate goal of moksha. But if I'm caught up in these practices in the name of Dharma, which is not giving me the peace of mind, on the other hand, which is disturbing my mind, where do I go? That's why Dharma is not taking care of me now. Dharma rakshate rakshata. That's why he says, Tasmat dharmo nahantavyaha nako dharmo hato vadit. Often this whole shloka is there, what Manu has given. People forget about everything. They take only one word, dharmo rakshate rakshitaha. And that dharma they can equate it to religion. It's nothing to do with the religion, about all these things. Unfortunately, this is how whole thing has come up. And people think that dharma means I say a few mantras or I give some dakshina to Brahmin. That's what is dharma. So unfortunately, this is how basically the whole thing has come. Such an extraordinary, wonderful institution, such wonderful practices that are there. In the life of Grihastha is a thing that has been missed. We have lost all those things. I mean, that is the reason why time and again that we have acharyas who come to revive this dharma, make it update. Because they make it update, that's the reason why 10,000 years, even though it has lapsed, still the Sanatana Dharma survived intact. So we'll see more about what is that, and I have not yet touched about the Karma Yoga aspect of it. This I said only about the rituals, the Karma Kanda aspect of it. Karma Yoga aspect, we'll go into that, look at the details. Let's stop it here. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Any doubts? No, it's,
It should stop.
yeah, okay, time is over also.